guys, welcome to our bonus WOD. Today we're going to be talking about Olympic lifting drills and technique, and I'm going to give you guys some stuff to do before that you can do at home, before you work out, after you work out, things that you can work on at the gym, work out at home. But the overall benefit of technique is very, very important before even moving that weight. So we talk about being able to move well and efficient before those weights increases, right? Like, so if the weight, say we're doing a snatch and our normal PR is 115 pounds, and we're trying to lift 125 pounds, but the technique goes out the wall. Well, there's certain reasons why that goes out the wall. One is because it's too heavy, right? That we're not ready to lift that. But also our body's not primed to pull that weight. Even if we go back down to say our max at 115, we need to make sure that our technique is 100% on point. So when we go to PR on the 125, that our technique is there, so it's ready to pull. So we're pulling the same from the barbell to 65 pounds to 75 pounds to 95 to that 125 pounds. Or if we're a guy that's trying to PR at 225, our technique stays the same throughout the lifts. Most of the time when we're in classes, you see changes. It's fine with the barbell, you're doing drills, and then we up the weight a little bit, maybe about 50 to 70%, and it looks really good. But once we go above that 70%, right, we're trying to throw in different pieces of our body because our body doesn't know what to do and is not used to lifting that weight, so it's not ready. So in contrast, right, it manipulates in a different position. So we go into different positions. So trying to nail down those positions is the technique that we're going to work on today. Okay, so throughout, no matter what lift you're doing, the position and technique stays the exact same. And then when we do go to PR, we have drilled and maintained that same position work through all our lifts that we end up hitting our PR, that 125 lift or 225 for guys, whatever amount you're trying to lift there. Okay, so to start, we're going to start with really, really basic drills. And the key thing here, again, is position and drilling over and over and over again, making sure that every rep is the exact same. And I've worked years, I'm saying years, from 2009 to 2020, so that's 11 years on drilling the same position over and over. We have to think that Olympic lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk, are called Olympic lifts for a reason, right? They are performed at the Olympic Games at the highest level. So we can't expect to learn this in a 20-minute period of class without practice. You have to, if you want to perfect these lifts or hit PRs, we have to drill in these techniques and then take time over the years. If we have 20 minutes every day for the next 5 years, what does that time look like? It's the same thing as if I'm going to go run a half marathon. I can't just go out and run a half marathon, right? I need time under tension, and I have to build time on my feet. With that being said, the Olympic lifters who train on the snatch and clean and jerk, they spend hours a day on this. So we're just trying to get the best technique and the best drill work that we can do in a 20-minute class period of time. And then if you have extra before or after, then use that wisely. Okay, so the first thing is we want to be able to pull that barbell into our hip crease. Our hip crease is the highest point of contact this bar will hit before dropping under on a snatch or on a clean. So to drill that, we're going to do some snatch pull-ins and snatch or clean pull-ins. So we can use a PVC pipe or a broom. Either way is totally fine. I'm going to start with snatch grip, so wide grip. I'm going to go into position 1, lean over to position 2 here. So just let that barbell or PVC pipe come a little bit away. I'm just kind of dangling. There's no pressure. And then I'm really going to engage my lats and my triceps as I pull this bar back into my hips without lifting up the chest. So once it's relaxed, engage my lats, engage my triceps, and pull this bar back as high up into your hips as possible. Now I have a little belly, so it's a little stuck, but I'm pulling and squeezing here. Lots of tension, holding for 10 seconds, and then I'm going to just kind of relax. So you'll notice that I didn't lift my chest up. I'm staying over the bar, so I want to stay over the bar. My toes are flat on the ground. I have pressure in all 5, 10 toes here. Not leaning back into my heels, right? I have all pressure in all my toes. Same position as position 2, and I'm just lifting that bar up into my hip crease and pulling that as far back as I can without straightening my legs at all. So just a little pull. You may that maybe a little bit of shrug if you need to, depending on where you are. We'll pull right into that hip crease. So it relaxes, and then pull in with lots and lots of tension. We're going to do 3 sets. Let's go. Well, we just did 3 reps there. So let's go 3 more reps. Hold for 10 seconds. So position 1, position 2. Relax those arms out in front. Pull that bar back. Squeezing nice and tight. Holding, holding. Squeeze everything you've got to pull into your hips. Again, I would be a little bit higher into my hip crease, but I can't really pull my belly in right now. So this is as far as I have. You guys go your full range of motion. And again, elbows should be locked. I may shrug just a little bit upwards in order to get that bar. Some of you may be wide and you don't have to shrug at all, depending on where you are. Good. 2 more here. Relax and pull in. 10, 9, 8. Lots of tension. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Relax. One more time. And in. Pull. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze hard. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then if I were to stand up to position 1, that bar comes right back into my hip contact and position 1 without having to move. So we'll go over how the process works, but we'll do the same thing with cleans. Now again, you're going to have to go wider. I talked about front rack a couple weeks ago. So the wider I go, the higher this bar can be in my hips, right? The lower I go, the bar goes down to my quads. Hey guys, can you move out, please? Sorry, we have Macy here, the pest control. Okay, so wider I go with the clean, the higher I can pull into my hips. The closer I go, the lower it's going to hit on my quads. So we need to make sure that comes into my hips naturally. So I'm going to move my hands out just a little, and that creates a nice front rack. So I'm on my shoulders again there that we talked about last week versus being on my clavicle. Okay. So as I go to position 1, lean over position 2, relax. I'm going to pull this bar back and hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and position 1. You see where it's now nicely in my hip crease? Good, let's go 2 more reps. Position 1, position 2, lean out, and pull in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Position 1. Awesome, we're right there in that hip crease. Relax again. Position 1, 2, relax, and pull in, tight, tight, tight. You notice that I'm really squeezing my triceps and lats here to really have tension on that bar. So if someone were to come pull my PVC pipe out, they're not going to be able to because I'm really holding this tight into my body and back to position 1. Okay? This is a drill that I love to warm up with every single day before doing any snatch or clean work because it just reminds me of where to pull that bar into my hips. So we want to hit on the clean, on the snatch, our goal is to always hit the hips. On the clean, anywhere above mid-quad is good, but the higher we can get, the stronger we are and the heavier the weights are going to be. So a hip crease It's kind of like that tendon that we have right there. It should sit naturally in those hips, and it shouldn't be on your pubic bone or anything where it hurts. If I'm hitting my pubic bone, that means I either brought the bar under too much, it's too high, or we need to adjust our hands just a little so it sits in that nice hip crease and pops off. So instead of popping off our quads, because that's just a little too low, I want to be able to pop off my hips, and that's going to lead the bar straight up. So it's not coming. A lot of people get mistake by the bar comes out, right? It's not going to come out. I'm still leading. I'm still staying over the bar, holding to my hip. Once I make that hip contact, I am starting to go under the bar, which means the bar shouldn't really clear anything more than just our body here. All right. So the big thing is you guys need to have pride in the way you move. You want to be able to move well and say, it doesn't matter how heavy your clean or your snatch is, but the more efficient and the better techniques that you guys have, you need to take pride in how well that is. I always, as an athlete, I always love that I could hit 80% multiple times, and I wasn't ever a great PR, but I knew in workouts and everything, people would watch because of how well I moved, and I could move the 80% and higher weight, even if it was the max, a little bit better than most people. So the technique, I always took pride on that. So I want you guys to take away the pride of how well you can move today. All right, so the next thing would be snatch pull unders or clean pull unders. So it's going to be the same position. I'm actually going to go into my squat stance. So on my pulls, right, I start with my feet a little bit more narrow. I'm going to go into my squat stance. Again, I always train with my feet turned forward here. Snatch pull unders are basically me just dropping underneath the bar without lifting or pulling the bar. So the bar is trying to stay exactly where I am, and I'm pulling myself underneath the bar to land into a snatch position. It's a little bit easier to show with the barbell. I'm going to grab this, and then I'm going to demo from the side. So squat position, I'm going to go standing straight up and down. Really all I'm doing is nice slow control, pull underneath the bar, land into a squat. Shoulders are open, wrists are open, chest is nice and tall, and standing back up. I'm going to do one set of 5 here. What recommended is about 6 sets to 3 or 5 sets of, you can do 5 sets of 5 is fine too. So it's all control. So you notice that I'm not bouncing this bar or lifting and muscle snatching, right? I'm really trying to just drop into my squat. Whew, that talked a little bit too much there. Drop, land. Really trying to just, like it says, pull yourself underneath the bar. Good, and we'll do the same thing with clean pull unders. So from here, I'm in my clean grip, and again, pulling underneath the bar, landing into a squat position. What is this good for? What do we think? So, a lot of people get scared of dropping underneath the bar, right? I hear all the time, oh, I just can't lift the weight, and then they pull the bar way up here, and they're like, oh man, it's just too heavy. And I have to talk to them and say, wait, the bar's above your head. All you have to do is get underneath it. And then the question comes up, well, how do I get underneath it? Well, if it's never trained to get underneath it, you're not going to be able to do that when the load is on there, right? So here's your drill, and it's hard with just the barbell. So if this is heavy, which is heavy for me, just grab the PVC part. So all you're doing is slow squatting underneath that bar, training yourself to get comfortable landing in the squat at the same time the bar hits your shoulders. Let's do one more rep here. Same time, squat and land. Good. So again, 6 sets of 3 of those, 5 sets of 5, or just a total of 30 to practice. The next is plate jumps. So I've had most everyone do this in the gym. If you've been in class with me, it's a great technique to work on your landing positions, which we will go in next. So my feet are going to be squished together. Eyes are going to be forward on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to jump and land on the plates. 1, 2, 3. Good. And you notice, if you can see this, my left foot is slightly back than my right. That means, most likely, when I go to snatch, my left foot will be a little further back than my right. So I'm going to be a little bit off when I squat or power. So I need to be able to train where those positions are. The way to do that is, obviously, if we're in the gym or we have plates, to do this at the house and fix and adjust your feet. I can do about 30 times here, but if we don't have plates, I'm going to use the same technique. I have some painter's tape. Everyone has painter's tape. If not, run to Ace Hardware. They have water right now. Tons of water, actually. And painter's tape. So I'm going to squish my feet together. I'm going to actually just mark where my feet are going to be there on either side. So I know that's where I'm starting. Okay? Then I'll go same thing. 1, 2, 3, jump, land. Perfect. Actually, my feet were very nice. And I'm going to put tape marks on each side of my feet. So I know I've got to be in my square every single time. All right, so back to my center. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and you actually notice, you can really well see it on the video camera here, is that my right foot, actually both feet, went way too wide. Okay, so that would be a little bit wider than my squat. So I'm going to try to bring that a little bit more narrow here. It was just a little bit, but think of every time if I'm jumping out here on the one snatch, then jumping narrow on the other. I mean, it's not going to be consistent, right? So over time, again, technique and consistency is what we want to see. Let's do a few more. 1, 2, 3. That was much better. This one, my feet are actually pretty straight. My left foot's out just a little bit, but not by much. I'm going to put this down. And you concentrate. 2 more. 1, 2, 3. And it's going to be fast jumps. Now, this one was perfect, except my right foot was up just a little bit. So I need to bring my right foot back. All right, I've got to have one absolutely perfect one to end on. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Nailed it. All right, so we want to make sure, again, your feet are consistent every time you go to snatch or every time you go to clean into that full squat, right? So this is the receiving positions here. So we can add that on by, if I'm doing power clean or overhead squat. So I'm just going to hold my PVC pipe up. 1, 2, 3. Land. That was a little bit narrow. And then fully squat down. Okay? So I bring my feet back in. Can do the same thing with overhead squat. 1, 2, 3. Woo! That was really bad. I'm not even going to squat on that one because it was terrible. 1, 2, 3. But you can see, after years of practicing this, that this is something that should be warmed up daily so my feet are consistent, because if we're not doing that, which I actually haven't done this for a couple months, and you can see that my feet get inconsistent, which may lead to the inconsistency of me hitting the snatches or the appropriate weight that I want to hit. So everything boils down to drills, 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 technique, 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 over and over and over again, right? 2 more things I want to talk about today. The first one is our initial pull off the ground. So if I line myself up from my starting position, my hips and chest will rise at the same time. And this is really important because why? It goes back to our snatch pull-in. I want to, from my very start, my lowest position, get into my second position where my hips and shoulders are in the correct spot so I can pull that bar back into my hips. So first pull would be position 3, right? Wherever that start position is for you. Lots of tension here. I'm going to pull up to position 2 here. Now I'm not pulling back yet, but what I'm trying to focus on is that my knee angle and my hip angle and my shoulder angle are the same the entire time, right? So I'm not pulling my chest or lifting my hips, but this is super slow. So in a normal snatch, it would take me about 3 seconds to get there. Looking like this. 1, 2, 3, up. Then I can pull that bar back in. I go to position 1 and boom, into that landing position. So I'm going to do 5 reps, but again, this would be a great start with, we can either grab a barbell. I'll actually do it with the barbell so you guys can see. And 5 sets of 5. Now, if we're doing this correct, your hamstrings and back are going to be on fire. So then we can take the reps down just to really focus on technique and do 6 sets of 3 here. I'm always a fan of 3s because we can always maintain great technique on 3s. 5s, sometimes it gets a little bit heavy, so we stop thinking about what our technique looks like. All right, so we pull this over just a little so you can see. All right, so getting into my nice start position. 1, 2, 3, boom, holding, and back down. Good. I'm just really trying to drill this technique in. Again, at the top, my weight is still on my toes. I have all pressure in all 10 toes. My lats are tight. My shoulders and hips maintain that same angle as I rise. The only thing changing is my knee is straightening slightly, right? But I'm not changing the angle. Angle meaning I'm not leaning more forward and I'm not pushing further back. So it could grow at a larger angle, but the angle itself has not changed, right? It's equal distance from my calf and my hamstring at all times. 2 more reps here. Good. Awesome. All right, guys. So the next thing is pause. And you can do that with cleans too. Let me show you with one clean position. So it would be the exact same thing, right? Same movements here. So working on both those techniques. Last thing is pause, snatch, or pause cleans. So working pauses is not just a good way to build strength, but it's also a great way to nail in the technique or the drills. So I just paused on the top of my knees, and that's actually just a nice habit for me because I've worked on so many pauses, but also is a great way to make sure that everything's great. So first pause would be at the top of your knees. Second pause would be pulling that bar in. And then I'm not going to pause as I come here, but I will pause before I squat down, and another pause at the bottom of my squat. So there's 4 points of contact. Is 1, 2, 3, 4. Stand. Okay? We're going to do, let's go 3 more reps there so you guys can see. But it's, again, technique and drills over time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Last time. 2 more times. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. 1 more for me. 1. Messed up there. I was concentrating. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So now we can really focus on the same technique, and I'll show you one more with the clean. will look the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. This foot was like way crazy, so I really need to work on my jumps going out. So then my cue would be to go back and do a couple jumps before I did my pauses. Once you guys can do all of those perfect, then we can start adding the weight. But that doesn't mean I'm not ever going to revisit those. These should come up as a good warm-up, a good even drill work. You get there early to the gym. You have plenty of time at your house to work on this. Grab a broom, grab a rake. Concentrate on, okay, my goal this year is to snatch and clean what? How am I going to get there? Let's put the effort into technique and drills that I can do at the house prior to me going to the gym. So when I go back to the gym and I have a plethora of weights, I can put all of the benefits and technique and drills into one solid piece. Any questions here? All right, guys, just to go over what we did, have pride in how well you move. We went over pull-ins. We went over snatch pull-ins, clean pull-ins, pull-unders, plate jumps or tape jumps, landing position, your pulling position of your first pull, and then pause squats. How all of those can benefit you. And again, that took us 26 minutes, so it's 20 minutes. You put that all together, 15 minutes out of your day without me talking. Good, nice warm-up. You're ready to go lift now. Have a great day.